us now a deeper dive into the race is campaign reporter at The Hill, Caroline Vakil. Caroline, great seeing you. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.
Let's talk more about this Attorney General race, which is just too close to call at this point between the incumbent Republican Jason Miyares and Democrat Jay Jones. How detrimental was the texting scandal for Jones, or do you think at this point he can overcome it, though the results are still too close to call at this point?
Well, it's looking like Democrat Jay Jones may have a shot at being able to flip the Virginia Attorney General's race here. To your point, it did seem like this texting scandal that arose earlier in the campaign seemed like it was going to really rock Jay Jones's ability to really topple incumbent Jason Miyares. But obviously this race is too close to call right now and just kind of underscores that Jay Jones might be able to actually overcome this controversy sort of, in this, wider era that we're in, particularly in the Trump era, where some of these scandals that once were seen as being disqualifying for candidates might be able to, be overcome in certain instances.
Yeah, and Caroline, is that why voters seemingly were really unfazed for the most part by the violent texts? I mean, there was one poll from Roanoke saying 87% of voters really, they didn't care about it.
Well, it's a very interesting question. I think that in perhaps different political times, it could have potentially rocked Jay Jones's campaign even further. But, it is worth noting that Jay Jones did apologize about the incident. There were a number of Democrats that called out his comments from his text messages and said that they were abhorrent and that they didn't agree with him, but said that he had taken accountability and he was moving on. And so Jay Jones did apologize for them. Perhaps that may have been one reason why voters were able to, brush aside that controversy in the extent of terms of still considering him for this hotly contested election, though it will really remain to be seen until the race gets called.
All right, and that being said, though, you've been covering campaigns all across the country. On the statewide races, they are often about the candidates on the ballot, but in this incident, are there just as many people kind of pinching their nose at this Jay Jones situation? And it is more about a vote against the man who's currently residing in the White House.
It's a great question. I think, it's not exactly clear, not having spoken to voters exactly why some may have decided to vote for Jay Jones in the end. To your point, it may have been, a controversy that maybe didn't, was obviously a detractor for Jay Jones, but ultimately maybe not enough to overcome voters' concerns. Another focal point in not just Virginia, but elsewhere has been President Trump. Democrats have been trying to use a lot of these off-year elections, even earlier this year, to, kind of use it as a referendum against President Trump and his second term in office. And so you're seeing a lot of enthusiasm for these Democratic candidates, including Abigail Spanberger being elected governor, and State Senator Hashmi being elected, lieutenant governor in the state. And so Trump is also sort of a motivating force in some of these elections. It may have also offered, color in terms of why voters decided to pick Jay Jones over Jason Miyares.
Yeah, all roads do point to trend and who's in the White House, right. And that's often what happens right there during this election cycle for Virginia. All right, that's Caroline Vakil for our The Hill campaign reporter. Thank you so much for your time and insight here.
Thanks for having me.